Hello, Clark. Can't say I love what you've done with the place.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at characters who made the most surprising comebacks to their franchises. Characters returning from the dead are a common theme throughout this list, so be wary of the spoilers ahead.
I am Gandalf the White.
Fox Mulder, The X-Files. For many, this sci-fi show was nothing without its dynamic duo. When one of them got abducted by aliens and was out for nearly a whole season, it became clear that that was probably the case. The replacements Doggett and Reyes were nowhere near as good as the original pair.
Dana.
Oh my God.
For a while, it seemed that Mulder was gone for good. It became widely accepted that the X-Files would never reach the heights it once did. True or not, David Duchovny eventually reprised his role to everyone's surprise.
It's okay, I'm all right. They're treating me really well in here.
What's happened to you?
Nothing. I'm squared away.
No one really cared that Mulder's absence was supposed to be permanent. Most were just happy to see him breathe some life into the show again. Scarecrow, Batman Arkham Knight. In the game Arkham Asylum, we see the villain survive Killer Croc's attack. We then get hints of his return in Arkham City. If you decode a hidden message and find a certain boat off the coast, you'll see that he's planning his revenge on Batman.
You're not dying. It just feels like you are. My toxin is filling your lungs, drowning you in your greatest fears.
It wasn't until a few years later that we finally got to see Scarecrow in the flesh once again. Not only was he back in the final game of the trilogy, but he was also the story's main villain. After fighting Joker in the previous games, getting a new big bad with a ghoulish redesign was a welcome surprise.
How many lives will you destroy in pursuit of what you call justice? You are the product of everything you fear. Violence, darkness, helplessness.
Han Lu, F9. After seemingly being killed by Shaw in Tokyo Drift, Han's death became a huge wound for the Fast and Furious crew. That tragedy was flipped on its head in F9, which revealed that Han never actually died.
Nice clubhouse.
The car explosion was all a ruse to send him deep undercover. Government agent Mr. Nobody was behind the plot and tasked Han with a new mission. This led to him protecting his newly adopted daughter Elle. The reactions ranged from hype to outright disbelief. It was clear that the franchise was not averse to making huge retcons to its films.
So we find them, stop them, and then we get Elle back.
Our odds are zero here, huh? Satellite equipment is easy enough to track, but we're not gonna beat Jacob to a launch.
Bobby Ewing, Dallas.
That one's better.
Few twists rivaled the jaw-dropping return of Bobby Ewing. After Patrick Duffy's character was killed in a car accident in Season 8, the show explored the fallout for the Ewing family. Then came the Season 9 finale, Blast from the Past. Pam wakes up, goes to the bathroom, and finds her husband Bobby alive and casually showering.
Good morning.
The reveal not only retconned his death, but also the entire previous season. It turns out that pretty much every episode of Season 9 was just Pam's dream.
Honey, what's the matter? You look like you just saw a ghost.
For a minute, I thought I did.
What are you talking about?
Viewers were, as you expected, stunned and confused. The moment has gone down as one of TV's most infamous and unforgettable character revivals. Luke Skywalker, The Mandalorian. The lead up to the Season 2 finale was full of cameos and live-action debuts. One of the many highlights was the long-awaited return of Boba Fett, played by Temuera Morrison.
Power up those shields, Princess. I'll put on a good show.
Watch out for those deck cannons.
Don't worry about me. Just be careful in there.
After all that, we were still caught off guard by this bit of fan service. Just when Din and Grogu seemed to be cornered by Dark Troopers, an X-Wing pilot comes to their rescue. Of course, it's not just any pilot. The cloaked lightsaber-wielding figure makes his way to our heroes and is shown to be Luke Skywalker himself.
Are you a Jedi?
I am. Come, little one.
He's brought to life by face replacement VFX and actors Max Lloyd-Jones and Mark Hamill. It's safe to say that no one expected Luke to come back like this.
He doesn't want to go with you.
He wants your permission. He is strong with the Force, but talent without training is nothing.
Harry Galahad Hart, Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
Let's see what happens when we change things up.
The last time we saw Harry, he was lying dead from a gunshot to the head. Even with the silliness of the Kingsman universe, viewers assumed that he'd stay dead, which is why his survival was incredibly alarming. In The Golden Circle, we see that Harry was revived by the American Intelligence Service statesman. He suffered temporary amnesia, but eventually became an agent once again.
Harry. Hello. Hello. Harry. How do you do? We met before.
Harry, it's okay, it's fine. They know that we know you.
I think there must be some mistake.
Colin Firth was so good in the first Kingsman that we can see why he was brought back. Whether his revival jumped the shark or not is up to you, but it successfully shocked audiences nonetheless.
Listen to me. This is not about my mental health. If there's a chance there's a double agent in our midst, or worse, the statesman itself has a dark agenda. We have to safeguard this mission.
Phil Coulson, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Welcome to level 7. Sorry, that corner was really dark and I couldn't help myself.
The beloved spy first appeared in Iron Man and proved to be a fan favorite. Despite being an MCU original, he was crucial in assembling the first Avengers team. His death became the catalyst that brought together Earth's mightiest heroes. But that wasn't the end of his story. In 2013, he returned in the pilot of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a series that ran for 7 seasons. Along the way, he uncovered the secret behind his resurrection. That revelation led to wild new adventures involving time travel, robot doubles, the Inhumans, and even Ghost Rider.
Another little present from the rising tide.
How are they getting this stuff before us?
Same way they cracked our RSA implementation.
Turns out that his sudden death was only the first of many surprises he had in store.
Have you thought about the offer?
Hitching a ride on the crazy plane? Not exactly a team player.
We're not exactly a team, but we're in a position to do some good.
GLaDOS, Portal 2. It appears that GLaDOS' story ended with her destruction during Portal's climax. The sequel immediately follows with a wrecked science facility and a familiar computer voice gaining back control.
Hello! Oh, it's you.
You know her?
It's been a long time. How have you been? I've been really busy being dead. You know, after you murdered me.
You did what?
Forced into a potato battery, GLaDOS returns as both an antagonist and uneasy ally, trading banter with the player's character Chell.
You know, being Carolyn taught me a valuable lesson. I thought you were my greatest enemy, when all along you were my best friend.
The evil AI has come a long way from trying to kill her in the previous game. Fans were no doubt surprised by the villain's return and change of heart. But then again, it wouldn't really be a Portal game without her. John Locke, Lost.
My God. You're alive.
Among the survivors of Flight 815 was the stoic and intellectual John Locke. He'd later find a way off the island where the plane crashed, only to be murdered on the mainland by the villain Ben. In another shocking turn of events, John would appear on the island again, only this time possessed by a mysterious smoke monster. The twist recontextualized the weird events surrounding the show, including Locke's ability to walk again, despite needing a wheelchair before he arrived on that beach. This mystery may not be the show's most interesting, but it was certainly one of its most memorable fake-outs.
Appreciate you showing me the way, but I think I can take it from here.
You got it.
Spock, Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. The Vulcan's death in Wrath of Khan is one of the most iconic in film history, so it goes without saying that fans were elated when the officer came back in Star Trek III. In the film, the Enterprise crew embarks to recover Spock's body from a strange planet. They find their friend alive, and by the end, he's back with Starfleet.
You came back for me. You would have done the same for me? Why would you do this? Because the needs of the one outweighed the needs of the many.
Spock wasn't originally going to return after 2, but Leonard Nimoy's passion got him to reprise the role and even direct The Search for Spock. Although the title essentially spoiled the character's resurrection, fans were nonetheless surprised by the actor's return.
Jim. Your name is Jim. Yes.
Albert Wesker, Resident Evil, Code Veronica.
Still alive?
The first Resident Evil game builds to a pretty definitive end for its antagonist. After betraying Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine, Wesker was stabbed by a bioweapon called the Tyrant. Even if he lived through that, it was pretty clear that he died in the explosion that followed. And yet, he returned in Code Veronica.
What are you doing here?
I came for Alexia.
Who?
An organization hired me to capture her.
Wait. You attacked the island!
A virus passed on by the Tyrant allowed him to survive. His new genetics granted him a host of abilities, including regeneration. Capcom clearly wasn't done with the character, and bringing him back to life like this made him one of the series' best villains.
You destroyed my plans, so now I've sold my soul to a new organization. Now, die.
Hector Barbosa, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
So tell me, what's become of my ship?
Jack Sparrow may be the star of the franchise, but his first mate turned nemesis is no slouch either. Ruthless, cunning, and occasionally sassy, Barbosa was a huge highlight of the first film. It was just too bad that he died when his curse was broken. What no one saw coming, however, was that he'd be revived at the end of Dead Man's Chest. Even more shocking was that he was going to help rescue Jack from the land of the dead. It was a memorable way to end the film, and his role in the next one proved that it was one of the best decisions Disney ever made with the franchise.
Barbosa! Marion!
I'm a little busy at the moment!
Lex Luthor, Smallville. After years of absence, one of TV's greatest villains returned right at the finish line. Longtime fans were stunned when Luthor appeared in the finale, having seemingly died after season 7.
I'm sorry.
Though Michael Rosenbaum left the show 3 seasons ago, it's revealed that cloning and a deal with Darkseid allowed him to cheat death and finally become Superman's nemesis. If that wasn't enough, we later see that the villain becomes president of the United States.
You have a second chance. You can change all that. But that's the thing about memories. You can't forget them. Like how you were always that one step ahead of me, Clark. No matter how meticulously I prepared, no matter how strategic I was. If only I'd known I never stood a chance. It wasn't a competition.
It's a bittersweet return for the character, but it's fitting that the show ends on one of the most iconic rivalries in pop culture history. Melina, Mortal Kombat 11.
How in the hell is that possible?
Unlike movies and TV, video games don't have to follow traditional narrative rules because only matches in story mode are canon. NetherRealm Studios can put anyone, alive or dead, on the roster. That seemed to have changed when Melina died in Mortal Kombat X and didn't appear in the sequel. The mutant clone was missing from the base game despite being a franchise staple.
I fooled you completely, Liu Kang.
No, not for 1 minute.
Many thought that this would be the first time a canonically dead character might actually be excluded from future entries. However, her absence was too noticeable, so as a surprise for fans, she was included in a DLC pack. She's still dead as far as that timeline is concerned, but keeping her as a playable fighter is good enough.
Help me, Liu Kang. Help me.
Gandalf, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Anyone who's read the Tolkien books knew this would happen. To the average moviegoer, however, this was one of the most surprising returns in cinematic history. Gandalf initially goes out facing down the Balrog in one of the film's most epic scenes.
You shall not pass!
Many thought that this was the end of the Great Wizard. The mentor character sacrificing himself was, after all, somewhat expected from these type of stories. Of course, his sudden re-emergence as the new and improved Gandalf the White was a comforting reveal.
You are tracking the footsteps of two young hobbits.
Where are they?
They passed this way the day before yesterday. They met someone they did not expect. Does that comfort you?
The moment gave both the audience and hero some hope that Sauron may be defeated in the end. Eobard Thawne, aka Professor Zoom. Suicide Squad, hell to pay.
Nice shot. It was Batman. In another timeline. Can't say that I blame him. Thanks to me, his entire world was going to die. Only Flash could turn back time. And I was damned if I was gonna let that happen.
Anyone who's a DC fan has probably seen the Flashpoint Paradox. In it, the Flash and Batman defeat Professor Zoom, reset the timeline, and create a new DC universe. Cut to a few movies later, and we meet Zoom yet again. Initially, we assume that this Eobard is a rebooted version from the current timeline. In a gruesome twist, we learn that he's actually the same character from Flashpoint Paradox. To buy himself time before death, he used his speed to extend his final moments into weeks. He also hopped into a different universe to find a car that lets him go to heaven.
I never saw it coming. But I felt it.
Is it a little confusing? Yes. But boy, were we glad to see more of the Flash's greatest foe. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Spider-Man No Way Home. Even up until the day of release, everyone was wondering if Tobey Maguire would return as the web slinger.
Hello. I hope it's okay. I just came through this, oh, just closed.
You're Peter.
Yeah.
Rumors and leaks were everywhere on the internet, but it wasn't real until we saw it with our own eyes. Looking back, it's kind of crazy that we had any doubts. You don't bring back Doc Ock and Green Goblin without also getting their Spider-Man. All the speculation finally paid off when Tobey stepped through that magical portal.
It took me a long time to learn to get through that darkness. I want to kill him.
Although it was somewhat expected, the scene still felt like a huge surprise. For a while, it really felt impossible that we'd ever see Tobey put on the costume again. King K. Rool, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Few villains have lain dormant for so long, yet are still remembered by fans. Even fewer have managed to crash back into a franchise with great success. In Donkey Kong Bonanza, the titular character ventures to find a magical root and save his friends. Just when it seems like he's about to succeed, the Croc reveals himself as the game's real antagonist and uppercuts newbie villain Void Kong. There's even an in-universe explanation as to why he was absent for so long. He apparently got trapped underground searching for the root and has been down there for 20 plus years, if you don't include his minor non-canon appearances. This late game twist was one we won't soon forget. Red Skull, Avengers Infinity War. In the climax of the first Avenger, Captain America wins the day when the Red Skull is beamed into space. Where he teleported to was a mystery, and as the MCU grew, attention was directed to future films. For a time, many started to forget about Red Skull's ambiguous fate. That is, until Thanos began his search for the Soul Stone in 2018. When he finally locates it, he finds that it's protected by a guardian. The hooded figure steps out of the shadow, and it's unmistakably the Red Skull, putting to bed years of speculation.
How is it you know this place so well?
A lifetime ago, I too sought the stones. I even held one in my hand. But it cast me out, banished me here, guiding others to a treasure I cannot possess.
Of all the cameos in the MCU up until this point, this definitely ranks as one of the most surprising.
The stone demands a sacrifice.
Of what?
In order to take the stone, you must lose that which you love.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Jon Snow, Game of Thrones. After meeting a brutal end in Season 5, the death of the series' moral center seemed permanent. Game of Thrones was known for killing off major characters without mercy. The Season 6 premiere cast doubt, however, as the camera lingered on his body for longer than usual. Later, his wounds are cleaned in a ritual, and the character awakens in a jarring scene. Fans exploded online and wondered how the show would play out, now that resurrection like this was possible. Not everyone was satisfied with Jon's return. Many outright accused it of being a poor attempt at shock value. In any case, it's undeniable that it was one of the show's most important moments for better or worse.
Let's end this the old way. You against me.
Which of these characters shouldn't have come back? Let us know who you think should have stayed dead or gone in the comments down below.